Hi there, folks. It's me, Derrick Pratt, the educator and interim curator at the Erie Canal Museum, and I'm back in a different kitchen this time for Cookin' on the Canal. Brought to you courtesy of the Erie Canalway National Heritage Corridor and William G. Pomeroy Foundation. Be sure to come on down to the Erie Canal Museum, check out our new exhibit, come enjoy our many special events that are happening over the year related to food and the history of the Erie Canal, and enjoy the rest of our many videos in the Cookin' on the Canals series. As a reminder, Cookin' on the Canals is when we recreate the historic recipes of Oliver Wendell Petrie, a canal boat cook in the 1930s on the Barge Canal. Originally from Oswego, New York, Oliver has a fascinating collection at the museum with his recipe book, a number of letters, other personal writings, and if you come on down to the Erie Canal Museum between now and October 31st, you can even see Oliver's recipe book, the ones that we are recreating the recipes of in this series. And you might be asking, what are we recreating today? And that, my friends, are Oliver Wendell Petrie's Brownies, a timeless recipe. The first step is you are going to melt together 2 ounces of chocolate and half a cup of shortening. Oliver says specifically to melt these together over water. So that is what we're doing here. We've got 1 pan of boiling water, and this shortening and chocolate will mix together. Just stir it up a little bit here. All right, so as those boil, we do have some other things we need to take care of for this recipe. And that is going to involve this stuff, famous from Rochester. You know it if you've watched the show. Flour. We've got 3/4 cup of sifted flour. Then we're going to toss in a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder and a 1/2 teaspoon of Syracuse's favorite ingredient, salt. And then we're going to mix those up. I got to stir my Spry and chocolate a little bit more. I really wanted to do this recipe to highlight the Erie Canal Museum. If you go on our website, eriecanalmuseum.org, and go to the education section, you can actually find this recipe, but in a handy-dandy lesson for kids, really elementary age students. It's a good math lesson that we drew up over the course of kind of the pandemic, quarantine, back when doing cooking stuff to learn math was all the rage in fractions. So check that out. It's at eriecanalmuseum.org/education. It's looking like our chocolate is pretty well boiled here. I'm going to take these eggs. Oops. I did a real good job breaking that egg there. It's nasty, but you guys know me. You've watched these videos enough to know I am not a cook, or particularly good at cooking in general. But now we're going to beat those eggs until they are light, it says. So just stir those up quick. I got to make sure I'm stirring my chocolate. Make sure that gets melted. We're getting there. Anyway, beat these eggs together till they are light. Then we are going to add 1 cup of sugar in our lovely New York Mets helmet let's go Mets. New York City, where the Mets are located, of course, one of the great beneficiaries of the Erie Canal. I was just having a conversation yesterday about how initially not a single member of the New York State Legislature voted in favor of the canal. Well, not a single member of the New York State Legislature from the New York City area. And then they benefited so much, they got not one, but at one point 3 professional baseball teams in their city. Our chocolate has melted. Now that that's done, things aren't coming at me as hot and heavy in the kitchen, and we can try to get back to, you may have noticed we've been a little light on the historical facts before now. I was just kind of ad-libbing, talking about the New York Mets and stuff. But now we can hopefully add in a few extra historic facts, that sort of thing, as you may have grown accustomed to. We're mixing in our chocolate and shortening mixture in with those eggs and that sugar, all right? And I want to just give you a quick little extra background on brownies, because they actually relate to something else we've already talked about in a previous Cookin on the Canals video. You may have recalled that chili con carne really comes to America as part of the famous Columbian exposition, in Chicago. Allegedly, the brownie also makes its entrance on the world stage in the same exposition there in Chicago, though its origins are much more shrouded in mythology. But we do know that brownies start appearing around the turn of the 20th century. So when Oliver Wendell Petrie was cooking these up, they're a relatively new invention, but became a thoroughly enjoyed American dish very quickly. As you can tell, I've enjoyed a few too many brownies in my life. But anyway, let's add a few extra ingredients here. We're going to get 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. We're also going to put that flour, baking powder, salt mixture and mix that right in here too into our lovely mix. Stir it all up. Do our best Bob Marley impression. Some of you got that reference. Most of you didn't, I'm sure. I'm going to stir all this up till it's time, and I've got something that those of you who have been loyal viewers of this will be impressed by. A somewhat, mind you, I say somewhat specific temperature and time where we have to cook these brownies for. And that is at moderate heat for 35 minutes. Now, just a warning, if you make this at home, this does not produce that much brownie. I have made this before when I was making that lesson plan that is on our website at eriecanalmuseum.org/education, which again, you should check out if you have kids, grandkids, friends with kids. Have them do that. They can learn their fractions and whatnot, and also make some delicious brownies. But anyway, these don't make that much, so just be careful of that. Don't make these for large, 4th of July parties or anything that are coming up, unless you want to only feed like a handful of people. And use a relatively small tray. So, like I said, we've got a somewhat specific heat and time to cook these for. We've got our oven preheated to 350 degrees here, which we're of the opinion here is moderate temperature. And just gonna toss these brownies in to the oven for 35 minutes. And I won't bore you with taking it out, so I would just like to say thank you as always for watching another great Cooking on the Canals segment. It's been a pleasure again. Thank you as always to the Erie Canalway National Heritage Corridor and the William G. Pomeroy Foundation. And of course, check this recipe out, the lesson plan we created around it to learn about the Erie Canal and math on our website, eriecanalmuseum.org. And while you're there, why not think about becoming a member to help support what we do? If one person becomes a member and says specifically, they did it for Cooking on the Canals, I will add like 3 more fun facts into the next episode. That's for sure. So thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next month, and have a good day.